Bring your friends and your folks along down to the river and sing this song.
RiverFest, it's the best.
All right. Well, good evening. Can people hear me? Yeah? All right. The Trails Dance Group, thank you. Whoa, that's the Trails Dance Group is going to perform right around 7, but before that we have a special treat. Mark Denny, who's here with the Medallion the Stallion, is going to come and give us a presentation about horses and teach us some of the horse dance as well. So kind of have a special little treat before that begins. So can you not hear me? A little louder even. What about now? All right. So just as a little bit of a background, Medallion the Stallion is here as part of Indian Summer Festival's Horse Nation celebration. So I encourage you to spend time with Siobhan, who's here with Mark. They've taken this Painted Pony Roadshow on the road to powwows and community events throughout the summer, and it will continue to travel on its way to Milwaukee in early September for the Horse Nation celebration. So what Mark will present now and what you can learn by going over to their area there is to learn about the role of horses in Native American history, and you can also decorate the medallion. This is a great chance to learn about horses and have some fun too. So I'm going to go ahead and turn things over to Mark, and then when he's done, I can tell you a little bit more about this evening. All right.
Sigoli, Poso, everybody. My name is Mark Denny. That's my English name. The name I was given when I was a young man, young person actually, very much younger. I was Wepatigizik. That means the beginning of a new day. All the things that happen when the sun rises, that's kind of what that's all about. And more recently, I was adopted by Ojibwe, an Anishinaabe family. And the patriarch of that family, his English name is Edward Benton Benet. He took me in as one of his nephews. And he gave me the name of Nadawe Benezi. And that's the Oneida Thunderbird. And that name refers to the tribe that I'm descended from. And we're going to talk a little bit about history and this great place of St. Croix River that's right behind me. That's very beautiful. We're going to be talking about this little horse that's beside me. I'm going to be doing some horse dancing, but believe me, it's no fun when you come together and you're just watching the dancing. Kind of my goal is to have you come be a part of that as well. So if you're able, if you're willing to dance, and I do mean moms and dads too, I'm going to send that invitation out to the moms and dads as well. But first I'm going to talk a little bit about your area here, right? Behind me, the St. Croix River has a great history. And some of that history is, when we go back in the history books, we can go back to 1839. And 1839 is one of the first timber operations were happening in St. Croix. Now, many of us have stereotypes of horses being a part of native culture west of the Mississippi, right? It's just like we have stereotypes of buffalo being west of the Mississippi, and we forget that buffalo lived by the thousands, and they were called the woodland buffalo. And the woodland buffalo extended all the way into Pennsylvania. And those eastern buffalo were bigger than the ones that exist today. Therein lies a story of history. And the story of history is that this horse doesn't come from Europe. It doesn't come from Asia. This horse, this relative of ours, originated from right here in the United States and Canadian areas. When we're aware of the first horse ancestor, that horse ancestor was here on the continental Americas. That horse was a little bit above my knee, and that little guy was only about this big. And that was, as we trace DNA and ancestry of horses, it goes back to the Americas. So when young people, you're in school and you're learning about horses, and maybe someone's talking about a Percheron, or they're talking about a Clydesdale, they're talking about Morgan horses, or whatever the breed may be, remember and remind your teachers that horses originated from right here in the Americas. And those little horses were the ones that went over across into Asia, populated the Asian steppes, and then migrated from there, from as far as Africa. Now, our example over here is Medallion the Stallion. You live over to my left or your right-hand side. You'll see our veteran horse. That's why he has the red, white, and blue. That's our tribute to our veteran people. He has buffalo horns as a part of the buffalo mask on the very top of his head, and he has red tip feathers on the very top of the horns. Now, that's a parade dress, sometimes a war dress that was used west of the Mississippi. That's our version of a horse dress. And the idea of the horses is when cavalry would go into battle, there would be a warrior on top of that horse, dressed in an immaculate fashion. Sometimes his horse would be painted, and much when you go back to Medallion during our coloring and painting activity, you'll see the different designs that these horses were painted. That horse would look one with the rider. And when the rider would go into battle, that would strike awe and shock and fear into the people that they were going to war against. The idea of that is that the animals were apart from us, that we're a part of them. And there's lots of things that we can learn from horses. For those of you that may be veterans in the audience here, men or women, we know that these horses very much were a part of our cavalry. You guys that know about tanks and military transportation, just running into World War I, horses were what transported warriors into modern combat in the beginning of the 20th century. And even before then, these horses and the way they're dressed were meant to intimidate. Horses even had gas masks during World War I. They would hang them around their faces, and they had protection for their eyes. These are the kinds of historical stories that people don't know about because horses were so much a part of our history. Here in the St. Croix area where logging was very big, logs would float down this river to go to mills. Horses were the ones that would take from these areas where you see the trees that are all around us. Lumbermen would take those trees down, and they would use horses during the winter time because the ground was hard and icy. And they would take huge sleds of wood down to the rivers. And when the spring would come, they would float the logs in the river, and those would take those logs to the 17 different mills that were around historically around this area. So horses don't have a huge connection to my culture. They have a huge connection to your culture as well. And that's kind of why we're here today talking about this. Now I'm going to talk about this little guy that's beside me right here. And he's the spotted horse. You see him? I'll see if I can maybe, I don't know what's going on, or test 1, 2. Test, maybe we can try the wireless stuff. While he's kind of figuring that out, I'm going to use my big outdoor voice. My big dad voice, all right? So I'll do the best that I can with the voice that I have. So this spotted horse here is particular to the Nez Perce people. If you think about the very northwest of the United States, they would have horses very much like this guy, and they were known for these horses. This guy with the different spots, and there's different breeds of this kind of horse. These guys were very special
Now, horses were lost to the Americas for hundreds of years. They returned back with the Spanish and the Portuguese in the southeastern part and Central America. And when they came back, they ran into native people, and for some of the native people, they would say things like, "The grass remembers them." Is there any horse people in the audience? Anybody rides horses or know horses? If you know them, when a horse changes the diet, if we change a horse's diet, they can get sick very easily. They can even die. But when the horses came to the Americas on those boats and began to repopulate the Americas, Central America, South America, they grew and they prospered. They didn't die, they didn't go away. That's why some of the tribes that you see in the West say that the grass remembered them, because what they ate and foraged on produced hundreds, thousands, and some folks place the number on over 1 million horses. Wild horses were populating the Americas. And native people, in knowing these horses, working with these horses as relatives, began to use them in ways that for transportation. Instead of sports cars, these were our sports cars. Instead of big 18-wheeler cars, these were our 18-wheelers to haul homes and shelters and people who were sick and injured. This horse was very much our life. So kind of what I'm going to be instructing you in is the horse wasn't just for the West. It was also here in the East. So I'm going to talk about that horse for just a bit. So what I'm going to talk about here in just this little bit. There. Now I don't want to be yelling at children. You know, that's so. One of the things about Ojibwe or Anishinaabe people is in our memory there was a horse that's unique and special to Anishinaabe people, and it's called the Lac LaCroix pony. That pony comes from north and west of us, and there's a border, Canadian border, that's shared between Nett Lake and the Lac LaCroix Reserve. That powerful pony looks like a Arnold Schwarzenegger little horse. He's got big muscles, he's very short, very much works as lumber and fur. We have a replica of a Lac LaCroix pony over behind you, and it's a little short, creamy colored girl, and we call her Lucy. When we're done here in the dancing, and during the dancing, you're gonna be able, young people, older people, go over there and paint that horse. Okay, however kind of designs you want. But this Lac LaCroix pony has been with Ojibwe people for hundreds of years. It has an extra flap for its nostril to take the harsh winters. It was used for lumber and trap, and Ojibwe people lived in the seasons with this horse. During the summer and spring, the horse would be out on the islands. As you look out here on the St. Croix River, if you would imagine islands and horses running free on there and making other little horses. And then when the fall would come, the Lac LaCroix Ojibwe people from around those areas would go to the islands, retrieve the Lac LaCroix ponies, bring them down into the mainlands, and they would hunt and forage, and they would lumber with these small, very muscular horses. By 1970, there were about 20 or less left in the world. That was all. The United States and Canada were on a campaign to kill these horses. They were considered a pestilence. Some gentlemen from Nett Lake ran horse trailers across the Canadian border, chased some feral horses down. Wild horses, children, wild horses living in the forest, because we had wild horses living in forests, and they would trailer these horses back to Nett Lake where they began a breeding program. Now there's a little over 120 horses that exist today. And that was through the idea of native people and working with non-native people as well. So that's kind of, a lot of people think about horses, and west of the Mississippi River, we need to be thinking about horses as a vital part of our economies, as a vital part of what supported our grandparents that live here in Wisconsin, no matter our color or our race.
young people, the last thing I'll say about history is if you can imagine this water when it's all frozen over, what did we have before refrigeration? Is there anybody old enough to remember before there was refrigerators and fast food places? One person. Did they have ice boxes, right? And ice houses. So moms and dads would go into town or wherever the ice house was, and they would get ice in the heat of summer, and that would keep everything cool. We have some other ladies that remember. That ice was chopped out of rivers and lakes just like this. But humans can't pull up those big blocks of ice. So what do you think they used to pull up those big blocks of ice? Horses, right. So very much of what we have today, what we owe today, are very much horses. We just kind of forget about that. So what I'm going to do for you today is I'm going to put on an outfit. And have you guys ever seen a horse dance before? No. I know I only remember very slightly as a young person seeing one. And some older people, Edward Benton Benet, Joe Rose, up in the Bad River area of Wisconsin, taught me a little bit about horse dancing. And that's what I'm going to do here and describe a little bit of the outfit for you. This is my dance staff, or my dance stick. Does this horse look familiar to the little children that are around here? Do you see any horse that kind of looks like him? I'll go like this. And see this guy. This is that Appaloosa pony, that Appaloosa horse. That story of the horse parallels the Lac LaCroix pony, where when the government and our cultures came together, we celebrated each other. And then there was a time of warfare, and the United States government tried to destroy every Appaloosa that existed in order to keep Nez Perce people. Or for other adults here, you remember stories about Chief Joseph, right? "I will fight no more forever" was his quote. That was his tribe that kept these horses. This horse stick is kind of in honor of what that is. Horse tail, horse mane, the spots of the horse that are on there. Now what I'm going to put on too is a shirt. Now many of the people see these kind of shirts. And even myself, I just saw, if you saw a guy wearing a shirt like this in downtown Hudson, you kind of wonder about him, right? Kind of, what kind of guy is that? But here, this shirt is very much a part of my culture in that these spots, do these spots look familiar to anybody? So these spots are very much like the spots on that horse, and also representative if you look at the picture of the Horse Nation celebration, where Indian Summer in Milwaukee is going to be celebrating the horse and our relationship to horses. That horse that's in the very front, this represents that paint horse as well. So when we see these outfits and the things that are worn by Native people, there's a meaning for everything that we have. So now I don't know, I don't think there's anybody over here on my left that's old enough to remember when these shirts were in style. That was way before your time. But no, it wasn't, she says. Going from the 1910s into 1920s and 30s, they had a few shirts like this for professional men, bankers and such and so on, where they had the kind of poofy sleeves and such. That's where the design of this shirt's kind of coming from, right? So we're channeling that particular historical period. Now for the young people, I want you to really think about what you're wearing. And what you're wearing, guys, is nice swim shorts, you got nice pants on, and they have middles to them. That kind of wasn't always true for every culture. The culture that I share with you guys, we had pants and we didn't have any middles to them. So kind of think about it, yeah. Our kids were very happy. We didn't have to fight with them, tussle with them. They just did no middles to them at all. These leggings were made to protect our legs in the brush, and especially riders of horses. These in particular are made out of elk hide, and they're tanned in a kind of a home process. They're not processed by a plant. They're kind of made by our traditional folks that create a very nice, soft kind of edge to the pan. Now these guys are meant to protect our legs, right? When we're thinking about riders and horses. And remember, for some of the adults here, we didn't have room in our houses for 20 pairs of pants. We didn't have Calvin Klein jeans. We didn't have all kinds of different looks. Well, I'm going to wear this on Friday. I'm going to wear that on Saturday. And also during the seasons. Some of us get a little chubby. Not the young guys here, but some of us older ones. We'll get a little bigger when we get older, right? Not your grandpa, I'm talking about me, okay? Now, when you get a little bigger, they fit just fine. You get a little skinnier, they fit just fine, right? So when you think about the utility of clothing, you think, all right, just because we wear the things that we wear doesn't mean it has to be that way, right? There's differences in approaches to what we have. Now, one of the other things that I really enjoy are moccasins. They're almost like a very complicated slippers. You know, they put on your feet. They stay there very much. Sometimes the bottoms are made out of horsehide. Sometimes they're made out of buffalo hide. But certainly by looking at someone's moccasins, way back, you could tell where a person was from. With 11 different federally recognized tribes in the state of Wisconsin, you can imagine different tribes, different ways of wearing unique things. Right here in Hudson, this is Ho-Chunk territory, right? Sauk and Fox, those sorts of tribes were here and are here. They had neighbors, Ojibwa people, that would come here and trade, that lived here as well. So this very much was an international community. So here I got most of what I'm going to be wearing for my dance almost on. So this next piece, like you were saying, we did have some modesty. So we had a little something for the front. And you can see kind of the horse designs, right? Out in front for the young people, kind of up in front. There's the one color one side and the color on the other side. In the middle, there's a star. And above us in the night sky, for the culture that I come from, there's 7 stars. Those 7 stars have 7 teachings, right? So each of those stars has a lesson for us as people. And this is the back of it. Now as I dance, I'm going to try and go out there and get close to you. So some of the kids might get a little nervous when I do it, moms and dads, so just kind of grab them a little closer. There's nothing aggressive, but sometimes the loudness of the bells and such kind of can disturb young kids. Just to give you a little warning about that. All right, so here very much is a traditional horse outfit, horse dance outfit. This is a Potawatomi style. So these are the things that you might recognize. Garters. For the guys that are younger here, garters aren't just for women, right? There are guys that wear the arm garters here to keep their sleeves up and out of the work and so on. This is the same as what I have. And very much here in Wisconsin, it's a copper culture people. Copper is very important metal to our folks. And that's what I have on here. These sleeves right here. This is what you call, dancers, a warm-up act. I'm just preparing them for your really great stuff because we're getting more and more people in here, right? So you guys are gonna be awesome. So here, these go on just kind of like this. And now one of my other favorite pieces I wear is bells. This kind of, we make a lot of noise with these guys. Guess where these bells come off of? Horses. Right? When you think about horses and horse sleighs, this is where it comes from. Okay, I'm just about done, just with my a few other little things. This belt is our lightning belt. This one's pretty valuable. You don't see a lot of these around too much anymore. There are folks that know how to make them, and the ones that know how to make them do pretty well for themselves. This is hand done, and there's a lightning bolt design in here, and there's an entire story behind this, but we're just talking about stories. Maybe another year we'll talk about lightning over in the water and such. That would be really great. Oh look, I have a fan already. She's just either laughing or crying, I'm not sure. So this is for the young guys that are out there, this is what we would wear over our chest for protection. We didn't have to worry like your tactical squads these days, worry about bullets and all kinds of things. We only had to worry about hard objects, sharp objects, that kind of thing. So we wear this in front of our chests. This wasn't certainly universal to all tribes, but this is just kind of a look that I like and kind of have channeled. So that's what this is up in front. And this kind of river otter is very important to my ancestry. The mirrors here, a lesson that I got from a good friend of mine named Buddy Whipple. He's passed on since. The idea is that when we dance with our ancestors. Wherever we are, we dance with our ancestors. One, we dance for the people that can. And we're dancing with our ancestors when we come around. So when our ancestors come, some of us, we got really good, friendly ancestors. And some of them, they weren't too nice. But they want to come and dance too. Everyone wants to come dance. They're having this good time. So when those ancestors come and dance, those ones that had those pleasant personalities, they'll see themselves in the mirrors and they'll come dance with us. Or the ones maybe that kind of lived their life bent and twisted, they'll see themselves in these mirrors and they'll go away from us. So when you see these mirrors, not only do they represent this beautiful clean water behind us, but it's the reflections of that water and the stories within those reflections that are there. So just kind of in honor of this place, I brought myself a ho-chunk necklace because I just kind of is very good neighbors, and that tribe has always been good to me as a person. And this is our hat. I have a roach that goes with it that's made of porcupine hair and deer hair and eagle feathers and such, but I just kind of want to move along with the program because I want to see you guys dance. I'm looking forward to it. Keith, right? And everybody. So I'm just kind of going along, but this is very much a traditional hat made out of our otter hide. So for all the kids, did I look like a native guy before? No, one guy said. Now I am. So there it is. I'm the same guy. I'm the same guy. It's just kind of different kind of dress. So what we're going to do for you is a song, and I want you to look for the different sorts of movements that I'm going to make. One of the movements that you'll see horses do when they're first born is, if everybody's seen video or seen a horse being born, or ladies, you know ice boxes, you know this shirt, so maybe you know a little bit about those horses. When their horse's head, they come, they're usually the last to come out, right? The head. And they'll hit the ground, and within a matter of hours, they're up, they're able to walk, but they're not very stable. So some of our fancy dancers, you'll like this, is when they move their feet and they go like this, those crossover steps are that young horse trying to get its feet. And as it gets older and gets his feet, he does it in a more competent way. When you see people who are horse dance, they don't often back up. But when they do, they'll actually whirl around. They'll turn in circles. For much of our culture, our traditional dancers, they hardly turn around in a full circle. But horse dancers will do that, and I will do that. When you see me dancing, the horse's head is really big. So when that horse is born, the horse's head is kind of like a little tiny baby. Its head is all over the place, right? So that's kind of what you're going to see. Now the last thing that I'm going to share with you about this horse dance, there's so much more to it, is that over 80% of horses are left side dominant. In humans, most of us are right side dominant, right? But in horses, they're left side. So when you see me dancing, you're going to see me going to my left side. my left side dominant sort of thing. And I promised you a last thing before I start dancing, but we'll get kind of over to the music here. And that's the eyes of a horse. The eyes of the horse can work independently, and they can see different sorts of things. But the interesting part of that to me is when you approach a horse, never approach them straight on because they can't see straight on. And don't come up behind a horse, because what's going to happen? You're going to get kicked. So when you see me in the dancing, you're going to see some of that kicking, some of the crossover movements, some of the head movements. So I want you to be thinking about that. So no Kevin Costner, no fire, no Twilight half-naked guys dancing here. This is the real thing, and that's why we're here today, to enjoy this. So, okay, horse dance, here we go. So this is one of my relatives. He's Menominee. Menominees have been here in Wisconsin for over 10,000 years. Our creation story is that all of you in this audience have descended from us. So he's going to describe this song, and it's a straight song is what we call it. So it's, but the horse dance, I'm going to apply the horse dance to it. Siobhan, can you bring our CD player? Maybe we can help out a little bit. So as she's going to do it, is there any questions from anyone that kind of has seen this program a little bit now, or questions about what you've heard, or any sort of, that's what I like, experts. Everybody's experts right now. Oh, here we go.
I'm the lead singer for the Smoky Town Drum. We're calling this recording Smoky Town Singers, the Next Generation. On the cover of this recording, you see my grandson, Dante Tyler. And now I have myself, my sons and my daughters singing, and hopefully I'll have my grandson, Dante, singing with me. But some of these songs are for him to learn, and for all the younger children to learn. The first song is the intertribal, and we like to use these straight intertribals when we're at the powwows, because we like to have fun and we like to share our songs with all the people.
have you come out here because we're gonna have different dances. So moms and dads, bring someone right out in front, right here. You guys come here just playing the sandbox, come on out. There's a brave young girl, give her a round of applause right there, good. Are you gonna be my only student? How about it, dads, moms, anybody else? Here we go, here comes the mom, come on out. All right, I'm gonna talk to them while the music's going. We're only gonna do like maybe a quarter of the song. And that's kind of how we do. You can pick out another song. All right. There, beautiful, awesome. Got, oh, that was helpful. We got a mom, awesome. All right, here we go. You're gonna like it. Okay, now what I want you to do is follow what I'm doing. And we'll have it down, all right? So, here we go. Watch what I do when I step out in the middle.
The next song you're about to hear is also an intertribal. We're asking the people to come in and dance. Piti kanan, machitok, nimikon. And I have a second solo.
That's why you swing your arms a little bit.
And he's saying, Gach wanasem, nimian, nagaman.
Come down.
You look good when you're dancing. We sing for you.
1, 2. Try the other one. Hands up. 1, 2. Right, now let's try sideways steps going this way. Go like this. Cross over. Okay, come on back. So, side up, side down. Side up, side down. Other way. Side up, side down. Side up, side down, side up, side down. Good. Now when that horse kind of comes out, the horse kind of hits the ground like this. Take a jump. And then he kind of starts looking around, but his head's real heavy, okay? So he kind of starts like this. And then we're going to start moving around. Just follow how my movements are. Those are the basics. Okay. All right. Here we go. So follow what I'm doing, then we're going to go around in a circle, okay? Remember, left side dominant. You're little righty-handed now, left-handed. Okay. Remember the hop. Side. Like you're tripping now. Like you're tripping. Other way. Good. One hop. Spin, circle. Other way. Okay, come on. Up. Left hand dominant. those are the basics. And I want you to know that I am a beginner at this. I'm just recently kind of putting these moves together, so I appreciate your patience. My name is Mark Denny, and I'm with the Indian Summer booth over there. And if ever you think you'd like to come to Milwaukee, make it September 5th through the 7th. We get about 55,000 people through the gates. Contest powwow, Olympic style boxing. We even got an Indian Elvis down there. So don't tell us that we're not multicultural. If we got an Indian Elvis, you guys can come see us. And please come over to the booth when you have a moment, and we're gonna have our Lucy horse ready to paint, okay? So I'm gonna turn it over to Mark here, Grandpa and Dad and respected member of St. Croix community. So how about a nice hand for Mark and his dancers? And let's bring them up.
Okay, we're going to go right into our dance performance. My name is Mark Soulier. I've been working for the St. Croix tribe for 30 years almost, 28 years. Out of the 28 years, we've been performing all over the world. We been to many areas. Our biggest performance was at Japan. We went to Japan for 2 weeks almost. We did a performance up there. We toured the northern part of Japan and down by Tokyo and stuff like that with our dancers. What it was, we were invited by the Japanese to attend their 500-year bone dance to their culture area. So we took the invitation, and the Japanese friends of ours, actually they paid for the whole thing for us to come out there, and the air flights and everything we went through was a great experience for our kids. We had 13 kids that went with us, all ages, and four adults, besides myself, 5 adults. So we did a great thing, being out there and living with the Japanese people and friends, the real close friends of ours. But we also been to the Bahamas. We went to Alaska. Our dancers won a couple gold medals up there at the Esco Indian Olympics. Won a gold medal one year and then a bronze medal the following year. Brought home some trophies. So those are our highlights for our dancers. And many of my dancers now are retired. They got kids of their own, families of their own. So these are my newer ones I got here with me now. And 2 of them are my grandchildren. One of them, a good friend of mine, my daughters, their auntie. So we're going to do a couple songs, and then we're going to give you a chance to come out. The kids come on out and dance also. Well, dancers are still getting ready here. Can you hear me well with this? Okay. Check. Oh. Okay. A little bit more about myself, while my dancers are still getting some stuff on. I've been working for the tribe for the last 30 years, but I've also had a long battle before that, working doing some alcohol and drugs in my life. And I recovered from that probably back in 82. So after that, I got into a program where I worked with kids, helping them live a lifestyle of free and learning the culture, free from alcohol and drugs, like we should be living. All the kids out there that are experiencing with alcohol and drugs at this time should think about what they want for the future, because you go down this one path is not going to be good for you. You're going to end up in trouble, and hoping that mom and dad don't get mad at you, and maybe the police will be picking you up and stuff. So you got to be careful what you're doing with your lifestyle, because it catches up to you after a while. So just a little bit of what I went through when I was younger. Our kids are ready. Our dancers, come on out. two girls here, or young women here. Explain a little bit about their dancing regalia. Before we get into the song. You want to tell them your name?
My name's Sophia. So, 8. Karen. Louis. My name's Independence.
She's nervous. Go ahead. What school do you go to? How old are you? What's your boyfriend?
You don't have a boyfriend. Okay, thank you, girls. Stay right over here. We're going to get the other ready for a minute. My grandson. So, my name is Mark Denny. He's older brother.
This song here is another.
My brother's been in with the chef program for 14 years now, ever since I walk. The chef program, or the youth program, has been helpful for many years, kept me out of trouble. Recently I've gotten into a lot of trouble, so I joined the S program over with the St. Croix tribe over in Myrtle. And it's helped me a lot. Keeping me out of trouble, keeping me working. Plus it pays, but yeah. All right, thank you. Our first song is going to be a grand entry, our intertribal song. So what we're going to do is the dancer's going to come out behind me. He's going to follow me around in a circle in order like our regular grand entry. And then we'll go on after that. They'll do their style of dancing that they're used to doing. For each one of these dance regalias, they have different types of dancing styles. You'll notice how graceful they are when they dance. Some of them are faster, some of them are slower. And Mark has actually got two different regalias that he'll be changing into. Actually, so one that he just removes the bustles off the other one. So we're getting ready for our first song.
Another straight intertribal that we use to just get the people going and make them feel good at the powwow.
Yeah.
some water. Some tough dancing all at the same time. And I have a bigger group of kids come out with me. The little ones can sometimes take a break and the others will come out. So it's a little bit harder with a smaller group. But they do their best and they enjoy doing it. They love to travel, go to a lot of nice restaurants sometimes. Let me get ready for the first song. It's going to be a crow hop. Got a different CD we use for that. That was Smoky Town. This one's a Northern Cree. It's a different drum group. I change up this music to different styles of music some of the CDs don't have. It's not the crow hop, it's a sneak up. So our dancers are ready. Come on out. Sneak up. You'll know once you hear it. Wait for Mark Keith getting the rolls on. I'm going to show you the girls style of contest dancing now. Get out there.
This song you're about to hear is a girls' contest song. I composed this song especially for my girls. And in this song, I'm asking the girls to come in and dance. We sing for you. Piti kanan kisei sak nimikon nagaman.
girls. We're gonna have them come on here. Independence is gonna come up. Her dancing style with Galia is represents the butterfly, the fancy shawl. Many years ago, the elders didn't like the women dancing so fast. They thought they should be quiet, more calm, and doing more of the traditional style of the jingle stress style. But we think that the women should are respected as our life givers. And it came around in the past probably 10, 15 years that the more acceptable to the fancy shawl dancing for the girls, younger girls. As she gets older, I'm assuming she's going to get into a more of a traditional or jingle dress style, because the fancy stuff is a really fast moving style of dance. Thank you, Indy. The ribbon style dance dress. There's a more of a contemporary dress, is more of a traditional style dress. A jingle dress was more of a spiritual type of dancing. This young person would be, an older person actually would be the one that you'd give tobacco to, and she would go out and she would say prayer while she's dancing for you or your elders or somebody that might be sick in the family or just not having a good day. You would give this young lady some tobacco, and she would go out and she'd dance and give the spirits the blessings that you want to give to the spirits. She would be the one. Be good, thank you. My grandson Marquise, another contemporary style or dance, the Oklahoma style of dancing, these double bustles on the back. It's parallel with the fancy shawl, the fast dancing, more of a contest style of dancing. I think it came out the Buffalo Bill days when they had these dancing styles come out. And then they were kind of lost for a while, and now they're making a big comeback. These fancy dancers that go to big contest powers that with big money dancing the way they do, you'll see them doing cartwheels and standing on their hands and all sorts of stuff. So the Marquise is just a kind of a slow moving, he likes to do both this style and grass dance. And his dancing regalia will reflect that. A lot of this long fringe on here is also for the grass that you see in the woods or see in the fields. Before they had the grass, the lawnmowers, we had the grass dancers. And what they would do, they'd go out and they'd do a style of dance. It'd be like 10 or 15 of them out there dancing this grass, this tall grass. They'd knock it down so our elders and our little ones could come in and we could have our powwows or our feast or whatever. These would be the men that go out there and do that for us, so we wouldn't have to. They'd probably scare all the snakes and the critters that might be living in the grass out. These guys had an important job to do when we went to open our fields up. Again, we're going to do a crow hop song. My music person. Crow hop. Crow hop is another kind of a fun dance, and what I want to do is after that one we're going to do an intertribal. We're going to have all the kids that are playing on the playground because I think they lost interest. Oh, sorry. We're going to do a crow hop, maybe we'll come back out.
Oh!
thing to do is ask all the kids that want to come on out. All the kids that want to come on out. We do it intertribal. The kids, the parents, whoever wants to come on out. Our intertribals are a social type of dancing. We invite people to come on out and watch the kids dance. It's a fun type of dance, so come on out. Anybody wants to come? Come on out. Come on out, girls. Guys, boys, come on out. Come on out. Come on out. The dancers are tightening up their bells and their ribbons, making sure they're ready to go. They're gonna get out here and they're gonna. We got some participants. Hello, girls. What's your name?
Ava? Brandon?
All right. Look at this, girls. Tough girls. Good job. Come on, boys. Come on. Shoulder girls. Come on out, boys. Get the boys out here. Hey.
We're asking the people to come in and dance. Piti kanon, machitok, nimikon. And I have a second solo. And he's saying, Gach wanasem nimion nagaman. You look good when you're dancing. He's sing for you.
Don't hold hands. Don't hold hands. Spread out.
Okay, guess what I want to do is open it up for any questions. If I can answer any questions at this time. Anybody? Questions? Concerns? There's a type of, yeah, eagle dance that are done in ceremonies, yes. Yep, yep.
Can you talk about what an eagle represents, the significance of the eagle? We've got a lot of eagles down here.
Oh yes, there is a lot of eagles down this way. Well, for the Native American, the eagle has been a spirit bird for us. We gone and actually considered them almost like a messenger for our visions and our prayers. The reason for that is that they can fly the highest that we know, get closest to the Great Spirit, or get Manadu, we call them. And that's why we give our eagle the most respect we have. Every time I know myself and my family sees an eagle, we'll either be driving down the road, we'll actually pull over and put some tobacco down. In some cases you can't pull over because you're on the interstate, but you still always sprinkle some tobacco down. You know, let the wind take it in the air. But so the eagles means that much to us that we respect it in the highest. All my feathers on the back of here was given to me by an elder, and he told me to make my bustle, my eagle bustle. I didn't get that respect until later, after my recovery, in about, I would say probably 15 years ago maybe, before I got my full bustle. That's like 10 years into my recovery before they gave me my eagle feathers. So I was highly respected. The two feathers, the white feathers on the back of my bustle, are for my two veterans. My father, he served in the Korean War, and also my niece, she just came back a year or so ago from Afghanistan. So those are my two veterans in my family that are, well, my father had passed, but my niece, she's a Marine Corps veteran for us. So, those are my two eagle feathers for my veterans. And I've asked the elders why did only the veterans get the eagle feathers? It's because they're highly respected. The eagle feather, the white feathers from the eagle tail are hard to come by, they're hard to find. So that's why they get the best feathers out of the bustle or the eagles. That help? Okay. Any more questions? I get off sometimes. Any more questions? Okay, this time I don't want the kids, I want all the parents. If you have shoes on, you got to come out and dance. Oh, come on. One song. It'll probably be our last song because the sun's going down. I know they want you to go see Miracle over here. Check them out. So, come on. If you got shoes on, come on out. Mine is okay. Unfortunately, the baby can't dance. Well, we'll make an exception, I guess. We'll do it this time. At the actual powwows, the babies, if they can't dance, they should be carried by, or set to the side until they're ready to dance, actually. But, huh? Okay. Thank you very much. Cool. Got him. How come there's only one guy? All these women. Come on, guys. Come on. It doesn't hurt. It's a really good exercise. And if I can do it at 53 years old, you guys can do it. Come on. Come on. Come on. There we go. There we go. All right. I've been doing it for a few years. I'm 53 years old. I've had 2 heart attacks. I'm still dancing. So we're going to do it. All right. Here we go. Yeah. I'm going to make it nice and slow. I'm going to call it the children's song. So,
We always like to see our children dance. So in this next song, we're telling the children, Nichiana Nimikon. Children, dance. Gachwanasam Nimian
Really young, really healthy,
Nichiana
ready to go dance.
Nimikon.
Come on
You
out,
look good
kids.
when you're
Join your
dancing.
parents.
Children,
Come on out.
dance.
Come on out, kids. Clockwise. Dance your style.
Now bring your friends and your folks along down to the river and sing this song.